Yo, welcome back to the Thickest Thieves podcast. I'm David Piersaul with my friend
Nate Rose.
and we back at it.
Hey, let's get it.
We got a game coming up, Leaky.
Chicken head. Bark, bark, chicken head.
All right, this game is about trying not to make noise. Each of you has a chicken head that makes a lot of noise if you let air out through it, so give us a demo.
But you can't give me that power. It's game over.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have 2 rounds. There's going to be a pain round and a laugh round. We'll have a tiebreaker if we need one.
You know what I want to see? I want to
What?
see Leaky's Amazon search
Just
history.
yeah, it's about to be crazy. All the stuff.
Jeff Bezos is like, oh.
Well, we actually know exactly what it is because it's all over the.
What's on the cutting list of that though?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
sorry,
that's
I
true.
interrupted you. Go ahead.
So we're going to go back and forth in each round. And your objective, when it's your turn, is to try to get the other person to make noise.
Okay.
We're going to go back and forth until someone makes noise. Once that happens, that person's lost a round.
Bet.
Like I said, it's going to be a pain round and a laugh round. So with that said, we're going to start off with the pain round. So what you're going to do, roll up your sleeve, Nate. You're going to take those rubber bands, put them on the top of your forearm.
On the top of my...
Like
On
towards
it.
your elbow.
On it. Got it.
I feel like I'm getting my blood pressure checked. Like right here? Oh, what I put this sleeve up there for?
This is about as high as my sleeve's going.
Alrighty then.
And then put your chickens in your mouths.
All right.
Wait, we gotta snap these on each other?
And you're going to...
Yo, let's start soft. Don't ramp it up.
Okay. Wait, who goes first?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Well, can we pick another game like chess? He went. He just like a luck king.
I know.
That doesn't count. He laughed. If you're listening right now, what we're doing is we're snapping rubber bands on each other. So if we hear any noises,
this is the
it's my
pain
turn.
round.
Okay. Third round.
Bro, why'd you move it down my...
You did that, bro. Oh, okay, go on. Oh.
Oh, bro, you good? You got trauma from rubber bands?
Yo, actually that hurt.
Aliki, how do you come up with this goofiness, bro?
You guys just tied on the first round.
All right, second round, laugh round. I got you on this.
Damn, bro. Yo, hold up. Show the camera's got to see this joint.
Oofy.
David snapped me, bro.
Oh.
You guys tied on the first round. So now we're going to move on to the laugh round.
All right.
And if you guys tie on this round, we're going to sudden death.
Okay.
We got to make
So
it.
now you have to go back and forth trying to make each other laugh. We're going to let David go first this time.
Okay.
We gotta
make
make
me
each other
laugh.
laugh. And I'm going first?
No, you don't have to have that in.
I don't have to have this in. Perfect.
You can talk, you can move, whatever you want to do. Make noises.
Trey and Kayla.
Okay, Nate.
Oh, he didn't laugh? Dude, I'm not going to win this.
I heard some chest fluctuation. In the
Oh.
microphone.
I tried to hold it in.
I got it. All right, chicken in mouth. Now.
Mañana.
Nope, David.
Yeah, let's go. Okay. I'm not taking an L on this one, bro.
What was all that, dude? What was all that dust that just flew up from your back?
Was it dust came on my back?
Hair and dust, bro. You got dog hair or something?
Oh, I guess so. Maybe so. You know, I got dogs.
Your boy haired up. Look, you got hair all over you.
You get one more chance.
Oh,
that's
dude,
on the road.
how do I make David laugh?
Oh, you get one more chance? Oh, you ain't got this, bro.
What the fuck?
It's like, bro, what are you going through? What are you going through to scream that? No, that definitely peaked. Was that? How was that?
That definitely peaked.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yo, my scream.
Oh, is that a tie?
What's the sudden death?
Now that you guys tie, we're gonna go to sudden death. And we're just gonna see who can hold
In
the
one
sound the longest.
in one breath?
In one breath.
Oh, the audio listeners are gonna love this,
the
dude.
audio listeners are hating me now, but
Hold on, I gotta do
I
the.
feel like there's a disarray.
Hold on, I gotta do the David Blaine
disintegrate.
technique, the Wim Hof method.
I don't think I've seen that part of the David Blaine show. Well, he went.
No, I don't think he did that. Are you ready?
All right, you got vocal practice from being a rapper. I feel like this is easy cake. So wait, we taking a deep breath?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Ready?
Yeah. I breathe, dude. You cooked me.
You see that execution and fatality?
Bro, that laugh in the middle of mine where it broke, like,
Is that what you laughing?
huh?
Is that you laughing?
I laughed.
Oh.
I laughed and I
thought
lost
you
a
started
lot of
convulsing.
air.
started laughing. You
And then I wanted to air in.
That might be the dumbest game we've ever
Well,
done.
hey, you know,
All right, so
Turn up a
what's
hop
the-
in it.
a dumb game for dumb people.
Oh, what was the punishment again?
Okay, the punishment is for the remainder of the episode, anytime the winner coughs, the loser has to confess their inferiority to the winner.
That's easy. David makes me do that anyway.
Wow.
Okay.
You made me
Sounds
do
good.
that when you made our lawyers give me
Do that.
5% of the company.
I got you, bro. Easy. Thank you for that. I mean, I'm used to doing that anyway, so apparently.
All right. Well, damn. Actually, this was funny.
I got you.
I didn't. Huh?
Put that over here.
David, you caught that in such a masculine way. Like, I wish I could be anywhere near your level
Stop,
of
dude.
masculinity.
Stop it. Stop it.
All right.
You're being too nice.
Okay.
All
Good.
right.
Good. We haven't done a rank order in a long time. And so I think we should do one.
Okay.
And I've got one for you. And, you know, you love movies. Obviously, you're a director. You go to see movies more than nearly any person that I know. So what are your top 3 most overrated movies?
Overrated.
Yes.
Number 3 for me, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Let me tell you why.
Ooh.
There's a lot of nostalgia in those movies. Look at Greg looking behind the thing because he relates to that Peter Parker a lot. The one who gets dumped several times. The one who every time he talks, it's like I'm listening to an episode of Dora the Explorer. The dialogue is terrible. The dialogue is terrible. Greg, shh. You're not mic'd up. You're not mic'd up. I can't hear you. Citizen, fall in line.
Citizen fall in line is so crazy.
Anyways, I'm going Sam Raimi's Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. For number 2, guess what I'm going for?
I don't know. Tell me.
Frozen. Y'all need to let that movie go. That's what you need to do.
Frozen.
Frozen is probably the worst animated film I've ever seen in my life. And I'm talking BoJack Horseman is above it. I think that Frozen has ruined a generation of children. I think if your child grew up watching Frozen,
You need to be put under child
I'm
protective
not trying
services.
to get canceled. I'm not trying to get canceled, so I'm going to skip that sentence, but know that it's true. All right, for number 1,
Oh my
number
goodness.
1, I'm going Star Wars.
Which
the
one?
Series. I think the entire series of Star Wars is absolutely terrible. I think that they revolutionized miniatures. Okay. can I get a good story? That's what I'm interested in seeing, a story. If I want to see a bunch of toys being played with in front of a camera, I want to watch Toy Story. But I didn't watch Toy Story when I bought the ticket. I wanted to watch Star Wars. People warring in space with good dialogue about conflict. And there's not a single ounce of dialogue about conflict in that movie or the movies
my
afterwards.
goodness.
What is it? A New Hope? How about A New Hope for a new Star Wars movie that makes sense? Anyways.
Damn! Okay, well...
I know Greg's behind the camera right now going, I love that movie. I relate to Luke Skywalker so much.
Luke Skywalker? Oh!
That's fighting words.
That's
between me and Greg.
We are now engaged in
Greg
combat.
just comes over and he swings on me, bro. I'm just like, I go.
We're having a deep conversation about something. He starts like swinging on you, bro.
I go fall in line, he goes.
Slumped.
He slumps.
Dang, yo, so the OG Spider-Man.
I got a good question for you, actually. Since you brought up Overrated, what are the top 3 underrated movies of all time?
I'm still hung up on your Overrated.
I mean, my opinion is true.
That's crazy.
It's objectively true.
What do you say to all like Cora, bro? Cora loves Frozen. You got a message for Cora?
I got a message for Casey, her father. That's what I got a message for.
He's about to get these hands because I know him personally.
Yes.
You let. That's
all I know
crazy.
is you better let it go now, citizen. That's all I got to say. I can't even say the word.
Dude, underrated movies? All right. Top 3 underrated movies. Number 3 is going to have to be Legend, where Tom Hardy plays 2 characters. He plays 2 twin brothers.
Wait. I've actually never seen that movie, but no one ever talks about it.
I know. And it was really good. I love Tom Hardy. So he kills everything that he does. And this one was like really, really engaging. You know, they did like in the movie, the one brother, they make him look differently by like doing his mouth and all different with like prosthetics and stuff.
What? I did not know that.
Yeah, there's like it's interesting. But yo, that's a crazy movie. Definitely one we're checking out. And I don't think a lot of people.
I need to check that one out, honestly.
Yeah, don't think a lot of people watch that. Number 2, I'm going with Alita Battle Angel. So we went and saw that in theaters.
Bro, you were so accurate on that one.
When you told me, you were like, yo, you want to come to the movies tonight? We're going to go see this movie, Alita Battle Angel. I looked up the trailer, and I was like, I am not going to enjoy this movie. But I was like, I'll go anyway. And then I went, and it was way better than I thought. Like, way better. In fact, I was like, that was probably one of the best, like, mixed CGI and real movies that I had seen. And it had what's his name? One of our favorite actors.
Dang, I forgot his name.
In Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, did it? Oh, it had Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that movie is. I don't think it's gonna get made again, but the budget was so high and it kind of.
You know who needs to get fired off of that is the person that made the trailer.
Honestly, because we wanted to go see it off a rip, right? We just were like, okay, we're just gonna not off a rip. I mean, off a whim.
If you wouldn't, yes, on a whim, yeah. I definitely want. What? A leaky coughing.
No.
You coughed?
No, Leaky coughed. She's trying to throw you off.
Trying to throw me off?
What did you say to Greg that one time you sneezed? Don't cough on my set!
I think you should cough on yourself.
That's a good.
That's
so crazy. That is my wife you're talking about. Relax.
It's like too far.
Relax, bro.
I'm sorry. Lo siento, señor.
Number 1 most underrated movie is The Prestige. Now, this movie is incredible. And it's Christopher Nolan.
That's a magical movie.
Yes, and Dave is really on one right now. Like David,
is it not a magical movie? You said you liked it.
David started this podcast and was like, "I'm going to just be on one."
I think that movie's really layered. It's a good movie, bro. It's prestigious.
It's prestigious. Yes,
you know what I mean?
It's a great movie.
It's really good.
No, it's a great movie, and I think that if we're talking about Christopher Nolan's best films, I think that one definitely gets overshadowed by a lot of them. But I really think that if you asked the average person, like, name Christopher Nolan films, like if they know who he is, I think they will forget about The Prestige every time.
They do.
You're
100%
like
right.
Inception, Interstellar, we get that. You know what I'm saying?
No one talks about The Prestige, and it has Hugh Jackman in it.
Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale.
killed it too.
Yeah,
You're talking about top tier actors.
Yes, but the story and the thing was crazy.
And it's like one of those
amazing.
movies where it's like you're trying to catch up to the mystery. You're 100% right. Honestly, that is probably the most.
That's the most underrated movie of all time, I think.
Of all time. Dang, dude, I want to watch it right now.
I know we should. We should go watch it.
Yes.
That was fire. Dang, bro. I feel like you went crazy on yours. You had bold ass opinions. Me, not so much. But maybe that's just because you are, so superior to me in everywhere.
I'm so when it comes to movies, bro, I'm so passionate.
Actually, bro, if you were actually that passionate about movies, you'd be the most annoying person to be around ever. I'd be like, bro, shut up.
What are you talking about?
I do this all the time.
You must be calling me annoying because I'm that passionate about movies. Did you just call me annoying?
No.
I'm not putting on a character right now.
Why did your voice change so abruptly from every other episode?
No, man, I just feel like people just really people really look at those movies and they're like, these are some of the classics.
Mm-hmm. And you're like, classically awful.
Yeah, classically awful. Yes. Terrible. Tom Holland is a better Spider-Man. By far.
Cooking.
Yes.
Going stupid. I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan growing up. And the other day, me and Greg were watching, because I was showing him my favorite fight scene from Dragon Ball Z, which was in the Cooler's Revenge feature film. Mm-hmm. It had, I think, Deftones scored the entire thing. So it had,
what?
Yeah. So it had a grungy metal rock thing,
yeah.
and it was like a much more serious toned movie. So I've always liked, when I was a kid, I wanted to watch hardcore, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I showed that to him, and then he showed me, I've been tapped out of Dragon Ball Z for years, and he showed me one of the new ones, and it was so crazy. So look, basically I stopped watching Dragon Ball Z because the arc of Dragon Ball Z is like this. There's someone that it wants to destroy the world.
Yeah.
And then Goku goes to fight them, and he gets beat. And then he has to find it in himself to become the next level of Super Saiyan, or the next level of Saiyan, which the very first one is first he gets Kaioken, and then he gets Super Saiyan, right? And he used Super Saiyan on Frieza, ended up defeating Frieza. Then you have Cell comes along, and so you have this next threat, and Super Saiyan 1 Goku is not enough to tackle him,
Yeah.
And then basically it's every single time it's the same thing over and over. So
he's just finding new layers.
At a certain point we got to Super Saiyan 3, and then after Super Saiyan 3 we had Saiyans fusing together to make right? And then that's before even GT kicked in. So once GT kicked in, I'm like, bro,
is GT a whole new level of strength?
Yes, they keep up in the ante. So before this episode, we played the Cooler's Revenge clip.
Yes,
right?
It looked absolutely ridiculous.
And it was crazy. But then in the Broly clip, bro, what was it, Greg? What was the?
It was legendary Super Saiyan Broly versus Gogeta Blue or some shit.
Yeah, see, we're not even we stopped the number systems, because if they used the number systems, it would be so absurd. We're like, I'm waiting until I turn Super Saiyan 13. You're like, bruh, why don't you calm down, bro?
That's
so wild. Now we're just talking about Gogeta Blue. By the way, Gogeta is Goku and Vegeta.
Gogeta.
And Blue is clearly some level of Saiyan that is beyond.
Higher. They're just naming it as they reach that strength.
Yes. But anyway, in that clip, bro, they are breaking through dimensions, bro. We went from look, it used to be Dragon Ball Z used to be somebody punches somebody through a mountain.
Yeah.
And the ultimate attack was the Spirit Bomb. And that's how Goku finished a lot of his stuff. Well, Kamehameha was one of his quintessential ones, but when he was had nothing left in him, the Spirit Bomb worked because he was able to call upon all the energy of the
Dragon Balls.
No. But I call upon the energy of all the other fighters and stuff.
Yeah.
They would all, and then he would create this big thing and he'd destroy.
Oh, gotcha.
But we're way past that, dude.
What
were your thoughts?
What my thoughts are that you just who showed you that clip?
Greg showed me.
My thoughts are that anything that Greg watches is synonymous with corny. Apparently, that's my takeaway from that.
We're not even talking about the clips we watched.
No, I'm joking. Am I? No, that's crazy. That's wild. I think I used to watch Dragon Ball Z. I used to have a disc set, but I was way too young to like remember
Yeah.
what they were. But no, dude, I mean, I see a lot of myself in Goku, honestly, when I think about it from a objective point of view. Can we be serious for a second? Can we be serious for a second?
I don't know, maybe answer that question.
I'm in a silly mode, bro.
Hey, we got Broly up here though. That's like the regular Saiyan Broly. So the dude that we watched on that clip was like the super evolved version of him.
Look at that. Wait, he's stronger than that dude?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dead ass.
But kids, at least you brought up a good point. What are boys watching versus what are girls watching? Like, we're just watching men get stronger and stronger and punch through dimensions. And girls are watching Barbie buy a new sports car and all.
Bro, as a little boy though, you'd be like thinking that you could achieve a power level like that one day. Yo, I actually, when I was in kindergarten, I thought, cause like I thought that I might be able to fly if I channel my energy long enough. Mm-hmm. Or actually, no. Well, there was that, but there was also, I thought I could maybe, cause like, you know how like if I wanted to try to make a fireball come out my hand, and if you like flex your muscle for long enough, it starts burning.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought I was getting close.
You thought it was getting warmed up.
Yeah, bro. I was like, and to me, it was like, oh, if I can just keep ramping up, eventually I'll just be able to just send something out.
That's crazy that our minds are.
Stare at spoons.
Try to bend spoons.
Yeah.
It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm all for
that joint is crazy.
Kids, they need to see a strong male figure in their life.
Yeah, like Broly.
Like Broly.
Like Broly.
An unreachable amount of strength.
Also, look at his physique, bro. Pull him down. Let's talk about this man's physique. Is that achievable without steroids?
He's natty.
He's natty,
He's natty, bro.
He's definitely natty, dude. Look at, bro. Why are his shoulders, dog, bigger than his damn biceps? They're for basketball, dog. This joint is crazy. Look at his biceps.
His hair, bro.
His legs.
Yeah, bro. Look how strong his legs are.
Yeah,
it's like Ganon from Zelda. Huge.
Is there a bodybuilder that you have seen that? I mean, the shoulders are what's craziest to me, though. Big. Look at the shoulder size, though, in comparison to everything else.
Yes.
Like, nobody can get their
muscles between the neck muscles and the shoulder.
Oh, bro, look at, yeah, from the back, you can totally see it. And they had to make it this big because these are actually the sockets, for the arms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But still, like, that's unbelievable.
That boy's strong.
He is kind of strong, I think.
Get him back up there.
I think he's at least strong enough to bench 150.
Yes.
I was talking to Greg. I had mentioned something about, we had talked about this before where there was this, like, living worldly versus not living worldly, and this thought that I had about, turn away from hedonism or whatever. And then, he let me know that he said that hedonism is basically an ethical theory about pursuing pleasure over everything else. And I was thinking about that, and I was like, okay, that's kind of paradoxical if you're taking it as pleasure just generally, because you have to figure out which version of yourself you're talking about. Are you talking about the now version of yourself, the future version of yourself, and how far in the future? What's the time horizon for that? And, so I use this example a lot where food and money is really obvious. If I eat an entire bowl of ice cream, that's going to taste delicious. It's going to be awesome. And in about 2 hours, I'm going to feel like I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. And then if I keep up those habits, then in the future I have to deal with,
obesity.
Obesity and everything that comes along with that. Same thing with money. It's better if as soon as I get money, I spend it on something that can instantly gratify me, right? But it seems to be true that the further your time horizon is, the more noble and the more fruitful those rewards are, right? Mm-hmm. So, and even to the extent of, if you're planning for retirement, for example, right? But then even to the extent of beyond your own life to your kids. And so I extended that idea all the way out, and it's like, okay, well, what would it mean to live with eternity as your time horizon? And basically I thought about the fact that religions are the only ones that deal with how to live in concurrence with eternity. And right. So, but I think I resonate with the time horizon example so much because I feel like that seems like just a fundamental truth to me, is that you're more successful if if you delay the gratification, because everything that comes on the back end of that is like, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
No, I feel
interest gained on finance and stuff. So I don't know what if you had any thoughts about that or whatever. But that was just something that crossed my mind the other day.
So this time horizon thing you're saying it's essentially like, it's essentially planning for the future,
Living your life in accordance with like
future goals.
a version of yourself. So people that have really short time horizons have a lot of problems, because they're never maneuvering in their day-to-day decisions with anything beyond even this, and I think of somebody who's like addicted to drugs, for example, their time horizon becomes, I want to get drugs today, and that's as far as they're thinking ahead because they're so addicted to them.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the only thing, and you get kind of stuck in this thing where it's like, oh yeah, you can only make it kind of day to day, or even living paycheck to paycheck. It's like, all right, like, so, but anyway,
you're talking about its correlation with just like the fundamental idea of like preparing for eternity in Christianity.
Well, I'm saying that if it's more fruitful the further your time horizon is extended out and the more noble it is, then maybe the most noble and the most fruitful experience you can have is by living in concordance with how the eternity as the time horizon.
Yeah, got you.
And that's literally what the Bible's about.
It is, right.
And so, I don't know. I mean, I think that, maybe there's some flaws in that thinking or whatever, but it's just an interesting thing that I thought of.
No, I do think that's very interesting. So explain to me like a child what hedonism is. Hedonism a person just living in absolute just instant gratification or pleasure?
Hedonism it's an ethical theory that basically, so it definitely wouldn't be congruent with Christianity, but it's basically that, like, why shouldn't we pursue pleasure at all costs? Okay, it's like we're here on Earth.
It's a
like if you want to, and people, if you want to
YOLO,
YOLO basically.
So okay, I got you.
So hedonism
is
YOLO.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, but right, but I think that it could be interpreted a little bit broader than that.
Sure.
But you still have to decide if you interpret it as a broadest sense. Then you have to say which version are you talking about. You can't have both. You can't instantly gratify everything, meaning like eating every food you want to eat, unless you just happen to love salad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think it stops at the conversation really starts at, do you believe that the end of your life is the absolute end and it just goes to blackness or not, right? Like, because if you do accept that there's some sort of afterlife, then to live a hedonistic life would be stupid. Wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, I think
stupid is a bad word, but not in your best interest.
Yeah, well, I would say that, but I don't think you even have to go to Christianity to kind of get that, because, and even after death, even if it is just blackness after you die, you can live and prepare and plan for your kids' lives beyond your death.
I see where you're going now.
You know what I'm saying? You can put things into place to where your kids or your kids' will be set up.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's funds or what, so that's extending beyond even you and your own limitations on life.
Right.
And so if that's easy to wrap my head around. So then it's like, okay, but if I were to just continue to extend this, like, what's the limiting case? And that is eternity. Like, that's literally it's infinite time.
Yeah. That reminds me of a verse that I have a list of cheat codes for Bible verses, because I don't know if you know this, but the Bible's big.
It is.
And it's not easy to
Also,
remember.
the Bible, if it's true, is the most underrated book of all time.
Underrated?
Yeah, no, it is.
Oh, underrated for sure.
If it's actually the truth about...
Yeah, because
there's a lot of people that don't read it.
Somehow someone just came down and was like, this is the truth. Like, God just came, like, people would go, oh my goodness. Like, Bible sales would go up. People would, like, they literally jump.
Yeah, it's simultaneous.
They start reading 1,000 words a night.
If it's not true, it's the most overrated book of all time, too.
Yes, unfortunately. Let's see what we got. So I made a Bible cheat sheet, because that, like, predestination, like, stuff like that. righteousness. They all have stuff for categories. And here's one. It's not exactly hedonism in terms of like I haven't categorized it like that, but it's Luke 8:14, and it's talking about at this time it's talking about the Gentiles. And it's like the seed which fell among the thorns. These are the ones who have heard, and as they go on their way, they are choked with worries and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to maturity. Yes.
Yeah,
It's just,
okay.
and, I mean, that's exactly.
Yeah, there it is.
I thought that was such an interesting. That made me think of that immediately. I guess what I'm trying to ask you is like, is this something that you're just thinking of?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just reading a bunch of different stuff, and I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to piece together just different things. Like I think about too, what does it mean to be made in the image of God? And I've also, I've been giving a lot of thought to. This is another weird thought that I had recently today, but I've been thinking about, what I had this question about. Have we made a priori assumptions about how much smarter and how much more consciousness we have than animals? And we don't have we're not able to describe any higher levels of being, like more intelligent beings that have accessed more consciousness. We God, angels potentially would all fit into that realm, whatever, aliens potentially, but we don't have any proof of that stuff. So why I've become so interested in studying that animals dynamic with humans is because I feel like if we can come back to the drawing board and say, hold up, we don't know what consciousness is. We don't even have a great idea about what intelligence is, but we do have beings that we consider to be less than us on these fronts. And if we can study that and make some connections there, then maybe we can apply those upward and start to think about what that means. And Michio Kaku said that one of his ideas about what separates us from animals is our ability to think about time, or do exactly what I'm talking about there, which is like we are able to plan for the future, and animals and also think retrospectively, and so I was kind of thinking about maybe we live in 3 dimensions. They say the 4th dimension is time. Somebody like God, who's
Right.
It kind of exists outside of time, but maybe being made in the image of God is our ability to be in touch with time in some way, even though we can't control it in that way. I think that's really heady, and I don't feel like, I'm not saying that like this is my thought, but there's some interesting stuff. Like, what do you think it means to be made in the image of God?
I've thought about this a lot, actually, and I don't have a full thought on it yet. It's something that's still developing. But where I'm currently at is I'm studying what it feels. I am studying that concept, and specifically in the note around God's character, and God's character is displayed throughout the Bible in multiple ways. The Old Testament does it quite a bit because it's the only thing we really have to. It's the only thing we get to justify. Like it's one. It's very interesting to me because it's the part of the Bible where Jesus isn't around yet, so we get to analyze God's character from a non-relatable point of view, which is very interesting. So where I'm at and trying to figure out if this is the way I'm going to view it is that we're made in God's image due to our characters and our emotions and the way, like God gets angry, God has a sense of humor, God is he gets sad, and he gets happy and excited and things of that nature. And trying to analyze that and what that actually means as us being made in his image. Some people have interpreted, I've had conversations with people about being made in his image, like people take it and they're like, we're our own gods. And I'm sure you've heard that perspective a lot.
Well, I would say
one of the reasons
go ahead.
I was going to say one of the reasons, and one of the reasons I started to study that a little bit was because, a lot, is because it was almost as if God had an inclination that it was hard for us to view him in his image. So what's the best thing I can do is to retract power, send myself into human form to live a perfect life and experience everything you experience with the same the same emotions, the same reaction, opportunity
Yeah.
for all these things, and then still continue to live the perfect life, aka Jesus Christ, right? So like that's where I'm trying to figure that out. That's one of those brain racking questions that a lot of Christians, now some have great thoughts on it, some feel like they have it figured out.
Well, see, I question the emotion thing because animals have emotions. You can
Right.
find a pretty broad. So for me,
it's true, yeah.
I feel like it's like, okay, well, if we're taking a Christian perspective on humans specifically being made in the image of God, right? Animals are made basically to be useful to us. It is the Christian
Yes, it
take on
is,
it,
yeah.
right? So if it has to be something that is not present in animals.
Yeah.
And I think there are certain things that we would be like, well, obviously this, but then I always see these examples in animals where I'm like, I'm not so sure. Like even self-awareness. Self-awareness is one that I've heard before, but then there's something called the mirror test. You know about the mirror test?
No, what is that?
So what they did is in order to attempt to test how self-aware different animals
Is that when
are.
they put the mirrors in random spots in the
No,
jungles
but
and stuff?
that's funny. Those
hilarious,
videos
yeah.
are funny. No, what they do is they will put blue paint on the forehead of these animals, and they basically put them in front of a mirror. And if I think they put them in front of a mirror first, and they put blue paint or whatever. And if they touch the blue paint, then that's kind of an indicator that they are aware that what they're viewing in the mirror is themselves, because they're touching their own forehead.
Right.
And so there were a lot of animals that even had that. I mean,
They were able to touch their own forehead.
yeah, and also there's a little bit of a dispute around that because you also could also be self-aware and not react to the blue paint. Maybe you get dirt on you all the time. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily mean that, but at the very least, like if you see something that maybe isn't supposed to be there and you touch it, you know that that's you in the mirror.
What is that like? What was the animal? Monkey or gorillas?
Monkeys, elephants, but I think there were a lot of
some
like
smart animals.
I think there were ones that are even low, like ones we don't even think of as being traditionally like the most intelligent animals.
Yeah.
But so like I'm trying to find this area, like what is the answer to that question? So one is the time thing. I think one of them, another idea is, one, and this is, came up with this idea, but I don't know if other people have thought this or not, but I'm sure they have. But the observable one is our ability to manipulate the environment. So, I mean, that's evident in the fact that we, you know what I'm saying? Beavers build dams, but what we have built is crazy. And that's the one that it's like, okay, animals have to adapt to their environment. They're not able to supersede their environment. Another thing that talked about in that book that I'm reading is that if humans living in most places on Earth, if you don't have shelter, like if you're just out there, like it's very like uninhabitable for human beings.
Negative.
Like
Right,
you can't live in Russia during a winter. People died anyway, when they had homes and things like that. But like now we have totally been able to overcome the environment in most of these places. And that's only due to, our ability to manipulate that. But also a human did not create, like, think about how many human beings and the minds it took to create a house like this. Like this isn't one person. Like even if one person knew how to build a house, which I think there are people like that can build a house from scratch, but they didn't come up with all the concepts. That was the work of previous human beings.
Yeah.
That was the work of previous human beings. So we have this ability to connect all that. Some might say it's
Help each other.
language. Language is another argument that's made, and I'm like, well, there's been studies into dolphin language.
But they're actually talking.
Yeah, well, also dolphins. This is crazy. Dolphins do baby speak, so they have
change
these
their tone?
they have these squeaks and clicks and stuff. But whenever they're talking to their baby, it's a higher pitch, just like we go
really
when
cool,
we talk
actually.
to a baby. Yeah, it's crazy. So that
Sounds really cute, actually, too. I want to look that up on our way home.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know, man. It's a weird conversation because
It's a hard question. It's a tough question. Yeah, it's a weird conversation too. I often think about the inspiration too. Like this is just a thought, but the inspiration, like the Bible is God breathed, it's inspired from God. So Moses wrote Genesis where we talk about made in the image of God. And you know, it's like, it's such a I'm trying to think about the thought process of Moses writing that line. And it's like, what was he writing? And he's the only person who's looked upon the face of God, not Jesus. The only person. And it's like, what is that? Is it more in the literal sense? Like, but then again, you know, whenever Moses was leading the Israelites through the wilderness to make it to the promised land, they come across Mount Sinai, and he goes to the top, and God's like, Moses, you can come up here and chat with me, but nobody else can come. They must stay down at the mountain and not look up, because if they look upon me, they will die. And then Moses went to the top, and like, even when he got up there, he said, he was like, turn away from me. You cannot look upon my face, or you will die. And Moses and then Moses stayed up there for 40 days, 40 nights, another 40 days, 40 nights, right? Then he comes down from top of the mountain after that to tell people about the Ten Commandments and what God had told him about the rules and the sacrifices and stuff, like sacrificing goats and stuff before Jesus came to be the ultimate sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
He came down, right? And it says that his face was radiant and the Israelites were afraid of him.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, what was Moses seeing?
Dude, listen, man, that kind of makes sense to me too. If we loop in the psychedelic conversation, you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, I think that this, and I don't want to do, you know, Joe Rogan has exhausted the psychedelic conversation on podcasts to no end.
We can talk about it off the podcast.
But yeah, I do think that there's some of these similarities and experiences and stuff between what happens with psychedelics and God. And by the way, when I speak about it or when I think about those things, I don't think that it necessarily, like, I don't think it's like, oh, well, I'm not making, you know, these mushrooms a God. I'm like, is this tapping it? Like, because God's clearly, like, there is some kind of process by which God is doing things. And there's also, like,
right,
if you're a Christian, you believe in different spiritual realms. You know, and so it's like, you don't have to be able to be, you know, I don't think that's, but it's almost like when with psychedelics, you kind of like, you get a glimpse into something that you can't explain. People on DMT or psilocybin, they feel like they are exposed to great truths that they can't articulate. Yeah. Some things are very, with DMT, the visuals are like super crazy. I mean, it has no relation to being a human, and they describe seeing these figures that are, it's hard to look at. They're simultaneously beautiful and scary all at the same time, because, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, I think there's something to be said too about beauty, like at the highest level, being kind of scary as well. Like, have you ever been in a crazy cathedral? And have you ever been kind of like,
it's kind of catching you off guard.
Yeah. I mean, we went to one in...
I mean, you talk about the ocean. Like, the ocean is that, right? And, yeah, and you're talking about the one you went to in New York?
Dude, that cathedral, I went in there and I was just like I really, it's weird though, because I'm like, nah, dude, a building would never make me feel like that. But when I was in there, I was like, yo, I could totally see how somebody would be moved in a place like this, because it is just...
It's
crazy.
It's kind of terrifying. Yeah, and... Bro, and like you were talking about, there's a process in which he's doing these things, and that's why the Bible is so interesting to me, because there's so many correlations in like the way that people haven't put all the pieces together.
Yeah,
we're talking about, I forgot the name of it, but it's a certain name of the book when things connect and have cross references. But there's like 1,000 plus of cross references.
Oh yeah, I've seen
the diagram for that.
I have seen the diagram. Jordan Peterson put that in his Genesis lectures.
I want to hear that.
And it is crazy.
It's wild. But it's like people are still analyzing stuff, and we're gonna get on this on a different day about the Ark of the Covenant. But you're talking about there's process in which he's doing these things. Is God? I mean, God obviously, the Bible, the biblical God Yahweh is able to obviously manipulate the earth and the world and the universe he created, and he has no reason to explain it to us. So what if the Bible is just that? And so, like, for instance, the Ark of the Covenant, there's theories that it was a communication device. It was an electrical. The way that it's built is there's specific instructions in the book of I'm tripping right now. Genesis, Deuteronomy, Numbers, and what's the one that starts with an L? I'm reading it right now.
Leviticus.
I was gonna say Book of Levi for some reason.
The Book of Eli.
And that's what it was, yeah. But it's a hard book to get through. But they talk about the ark being built in that, and it's very specific. Like there's a page or two about building the ark and sticking rods that separate from the gold that it's lined with, and building 2 cherubim, which are angels that face each other on top that are also made out of pure gold. And people have analyzed it for years, and people are like, this sounds like the exact instructions for building something that holds uranium. And people just like, also the book talks about them going into war. The Bible talks about them going into war using the ark, and then their enemies breaking out into emobs, which is it sounds very similar to radiation sickness and things you get from it, things like that, and it being used to communicate. Apparently, they say they theorize. I'll send you a link, but they theorize that the cherubim that are made of pure gold are obviously made out of gold, so they're conductive, and the poles are not connected to the conductivity, and the Lord directly commands that the high priest must carry the ark. It's about 500 pounds. There's 4 people, 1 on each corner, holding the poles on both ends. And if anyone touches the ark, they will be killed instantly. And someone does that, and the way to describe it is like as if someone just got electrocuted and died instantly. Things of that nature.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, and there's one passage that talks about that they were going against the enemy, and the enemy was washed with a cloud of flame and smoke and fire, or something like that. It was flame, smoke, and something else, which sounds very much so like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And so there's like all these theories and stuff, and it's just interesting. And you found more of that too. I think me and you watched that. I think it was like 70 or 20 scientific facts in the Bible.
Yeah.
If you ever finish that video, it's kind of
I need to go finish it. Yeah.
But
some of that stuff is interesting.
I think it's Genesis where it's talking about the earth being hung, like it's being hung in the. I can't remember the exact verse. I need to write this stuff. That's why I made that cheat sheet, because my memory is not that good when reading all this stuff. But it talks about rivers in the middle of the ocean, and we didn't discover that until 200 years after that Bible verse was.
That's wild.
Was the manuscripts of that was discovered, and things of that nature. It's so interesting. We should do one day, talk about it, and I'll like get my facts together so we can.
Yeah,
really
let's do it. Let's do it.
But it's really like even if you're not Christian, bro, it's like, whoa, this book is remarkable.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I'll say this to look. Like I said, I'm still agnostic. I'm on a journey of just
what does that mean?
Agnostic just means it's kind of like I don't know.
No, I know, I'm joking.
Oh, I was like okay.
Yeah.
But I think that there's something. I do think that there is something to be said about the Bible and its captivation over people for 2,000 years. I mean, it's like the greatest piece of literature ever made.
For sure.
In that regard, it's like, and then also so many people believe it, have felt it, have experiences. It's, you know what I'm saying, live by a particular code. So I think there's something there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's some kind of, I don't think all these people are just in a delusion. And some people definitely would say that, but it's like also, but there's something in the book though that is resonating with people.
With the mass amount
so
of people.
At the very least, even if you just read it, not to read it as fact, but you read it as a piece of literature or whatever.
The episode of Midnight, was it Midnight?
I haven't seen all of them yet.
There's an episode. No, you watched it. You watched that one because you're like, it was weird when they talked about. He was like, I think the Bible is one of the most magical books. He was a magician, or like he was very into like magical theology.
Uh-huh.
He's like, I think one of the Bible is like probably one of the best books about magic to ever exist, and like people have so many interpretations of it. Man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But all right, man. Well, dude, these are like long conversations anyway, so
no, we can keep
let's spare them the details. I'll come back the next time I have another thought that
you didn't watch,
maybe connect some other
read with Greg.
Huh? Yes.
I prefer that.
Yes. All right.
At least
bet.
Cool, but
all right, man. Till next time. Peace.
Yeah, baby, need top 5 when I'm done going mental. Yeah, I'm locked in. You can peep my condition, man.